Hi, I'm Jill.
And I'm John.
And we're the Geezers on the Go.
Go, go, go.
In this episode, we're at Ferry State Park, an old Georgia Power Company campground, reopened by the state in 2019. It's small and a bit quirky, but its location on Lake Juliet makes it a great getaway. The park is located near the town of Juliet, about 15 miles north of Macon, smack dab in the middle of Georgia. The campground was for tents only when Georgia Power had it, but now it has 37 RV sites, all with water and electric. And almost all of them are right on the lake.
The campground is just 5 miles from Juliet and the Whistle Stop Cafe, where much of the movie Fried Green Tomatoes was filmed. On summer weekends, people come from hundreds of miles away to eat here. And about 10 miles from the campground, you can tour the old Jarrell family plantation, in operation from the 1840s to the 1960s. The buildings remain almost exactly as they were when originally built, making it a unique exhibit.
We're here at Ferry State Park in Juliet, Georgia, sort of central Georgia, and we're on Lake Juliet. We're in site number 15, and we're right on the lake. We have water and electric. It's a little bit different kind of a site because you have to come in. The road is up there, and John had to back all the way down and then turn it into the site. But he did a good job. And there's a site over there, that's number 14, and number 13 over there by the water, and 16, and then 17, so it's like a little enclave down here at the little finger of the lake here. But it's a really nice site once you get in it. It has like almost like a deck here. Well, this is our spot up here, John. Pretty nice, huh?
Oh, it's like camping right on the lake.
Well, we are right on the lake.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So we're going to take a walk down here and just show you how nice it is down here. There's our picnic table there, and if you wanted to have a grill, it's right there. And then just walk down here. There's a nice rocky shoreline, but not too bad. Easy to navigate. This is the entrance where you come into the park, and there's a little kiosk here, and where the Good morning. Oh, good. Since it's just a little office, they put all the little things that you can buy, stickers, shirts, candles. It smells good out here because you can smell the candles. So you come up from the little kiosk there, you get to, this is site number 1, and that's the camp host, and there's another camp host right next to them. There's no sites right as you come in, but there are a couple. As we go over the top of this hill, we'll go see where the other ones are. And right past where the camp hosts are, you can come down here. There's a little place where they rent some kayaks and canoes, and I think some paddle boats. And a little walkway. You can actually park down here if you have a handicap thing. And we'll take a walk down to through this windy steps and see what's down below. Well, this sure is a little windy way down to the lake. I could have made a little more direct route, but made it to the end, just about. Well, I thought I could go straight, but I still got to go serpentine over here. And they rent down here, they said, some canoes, and I don't see any. There's a couple kayaks, but they also rent these paddle boats. That would be kind of fun. I think not real cheap. I think it was $35 for an hour. The camp host said that one time down there are a couple like tent pads, so that used to be some sites down there when it was the old Georgia power sites, but they said they haven't opened because they're too difficult to get into, but they would be, he said, very nice tent sites. So there's like 3 or 4 that could be down there. And then you have these last couple over here before we get back down to where we are. That's number 8, which is nice. 9 and 10 right along the water. And at the end there's a pavilion that you could have a little picnic. Here on the inner loop is site 35. It's a pull through. Somebody's now just leaving. I think they only stay for one night, but it's pretty convenient up to the bathroom since most of all the sites only have water and electric. You have to check too. Some have 50 and 30 and some only have 30, so check when you make a reservation that if you need 50, you get one of the 50 amp sites. This is site 19 and site 20, and both of these are pretty long back ends. In fact, number 20 you'd have to back down almost in from way up there and then make your turn to go over there, so you have to do some tricky maneuvering. This one's not quite as bad, but this one also you have to turn from the road up here. So just make sure you know what you're doing if you want to get into site number 20. This is site number 22. It looks to be the handicap site because it's all paved and it's a really big site here. And you have a nice view overlooking the lake again. There's the lake. And depending on how well you can negotiate, you could walk down the hill down to the lake. So here we're kind of close to a road up there, so you might hear some trucks go by. This is a little finger loop that starts at site number 33 and goes on that side with some trees. 33, and then on the other side over here, these are sites right along the water. That's site number 22, which isn't a bad site there. Yeah. This nice pull through 32 on this side. And we'll come up here to number 22. It's kind of a shorty, that one. That one 23, and that's probably 24, and that's kind of a short one too. This one you could probably park sideways, be right on the lake, as well as 25 over here. But they said the 2 at the end here, that's 26, that's another shorty, but this one over here isn't bad. You could park like this way, and you might be backwards with your door to the wrong side, but at least you'd be facing out to the lake. And so this one is number 29. I would definitely park the opposite way so you'd be facing out, although your water and electric could be on the other side. So 28 here is at the end, and it's sort of a little turnaround cul-de-sac, so you could back into that, and it's probably one of the, the camp host says everybody wants that spot. This is the only bad thing, he says, is in the summer there's not a lot of shade, and when the wind kicks up, you could be rocking and rolling on that point, but I still think I'd take it. In this little road that's cuts through the middle of the campground, I didn't really notice that there's another site over here. It's site 37. Looks like it fits a real big motorhome, and you have a good look at the lake from here. So it wouldn't be a bad spot. The boat launch is just on the other side of this little finger there, and here you can see a boat coming out. Supposed to be good fishing, bass, stripers, brim, all the usual suspects. And it's a big, beautiful lake. Nice to wake up and see this in the morning. Well, here's a little older pier. I guess you can fish off of this one. Technically it says you're not supposed to fish off of that, but that one guy don't seem to care. The water's fairly clear. Lots of weeds. But that's a lot of times it's good. It looks like it drops off right here and then goes out to Lake Juliet. Just as you enter Dames Ferry State Park, there's this big fenced-in area, and from what I've been told, one of the camp hosts said that they thought there was supposed to be an old graveyard in here, but she hasn't been able to get much information, and I don't see any headstones, although a picture she found showed one. So it's all just sort of wooded, if anything. So if anybody watching our video, if you know anything about this graveyard at Dames Ferry, send us a note. We'll be glad to hear about it. We've reached sort of a mutual pact with the fish at these lakes down here in Georgia. We fish, they don't bite, and so far it seems to be working. It hasn't kept others from trying their luck, though. This campground at one time was not always a state park. It once belonged to the Georgia Power Company, and they run quite a few campgrounds around Georgia. Now it's part of the state program.
Yeah, it's I think one day opened up in 2019.
Yeah,
I think.
Right. They redid the campground. It used to be just a tent campground, and the power company decided they didn't want to run it anymore, so the state took over, put in water and electric, and in 2019 opened up, and it's about 30 sites, and it's a pretty place. It's all the sites are on the water. Some are kind of strange locations, but
laid out a little funny, but you know, it's that's what happens when you convert an old tent campground into a RV campground.
But they tried to make it so you were right by the water. As you could tell, our site is right here on this Lake Juliet.
Yeah, which is a pretty good sized lake. It's not huge.
It's 3,600 acres, so it's not too bad.
Yeah.
And it's fed by the Ocmulgee River, which that's what the
I'll
place
spell that out.
That's named for the ferry here. There used to be something called Dames Ferry, which was run by a guy named John Dames, because it would cross the river.
Used to go across the river in various places. You're only allowed, 25 horsepower motors on this lake?
Right, yeah. And right near a little town called Juliet, which is famous for having filmed the movie Fried Green Tomatoes.
Yeah, it basically consists of about a half a dozen antique shops and the Whistle Stop Cafe. And when the Whistle Stop Cafe opens up on the weekend, the town's hopping. Otherwise, nothing's open.
Nothing's open.
But it's worth going to see.
And also not too far is something called the Jurnell Plantation, which was a working plantation from the 1840s up until
I think it is.
Until the 1960s. And it housed a couple families, 4 generations of that family, and they raised cotton and sugar cane and did lumber, and they did it all. And
the unique thing about this plantation is that the buildings are all original. There's no reproductions, no rebuilding. It's all the original buildings. So
you just take a little trail, walk around. It's only about maybe half a mile, and you get to see all those, and a lot of places even have the original furniture.
It was a lot of fun.
This little town of Juliet here, it's not much of a town, but they filmed a lot of the movie Fried Green Tomatoes here, I think. Mostly from this place called the Whistle Stop Cafe, and a lot of other stuff, the guy said, in the town. And so we'll have to go look at the movie again. And we're here at the Whistle Stop where the movie Fried Green Tomatoes was made. I'm going to have a hamburger that has fried green tomatoes on it, so we'll see how that comes out. We were in this town of Juliet a couple days ago, and it was in the middle of the week and nobody was here yet. Now it's Thursday, and because the restaurant's open, all the stores are open. You can see it's a little bit busier.
Juliet might have been a whistle stop years ago, but it doesn't look like the train stops here at all anymore. We were in the cafe the first time we saw the train go by, not 20 feet away, and nearly everyone rushed to the windows to watch.
This is a little shop in the town of Juliet. It has all kind of knickknacks and antiques and shirts. Lots of different kind of eclectic stuff. We're at the Gerald Historic Site Plantation, and there was 3 generations of this family that started this plantation in the 1840s, and they lasted up until the 1960s. And then they donated the land to the state in the 70s so that people could appreciate and know how the plantations and things ran back in the olden days. This was part of the garden at the farm and plantation back in the day, and it says it sort of represents what they would have grown back then. Flowers, vegetables, it even look like there's some cotton growing in there. Well, this was an all-purpose building. It was a chicken house, the privy, and a smokehouse. There's still some of the chickens still reside around here. In fact, there's some up there up on the road. So they're still ruling the roost around here. This is the barn area, and we still have there's a goat over there cleaning himself up. And there's a kitty cat still living the good life. This is the Gerald house from 1895. It said had a bed here, a little table, fireplace, another bed here, and another bigger bedroom back there, and a little crib. This was the last house that they built. It was completed in the early 1900s, and it's now being used, it says, as a bed and breakfast. Nobody here now. It's beginning of February, so they probably come at a little bit nicer time of the year. This is the syrup furnace that they used in the mid-1800s, and it says that John Gerald used to cook sugar cane syrup, and he would made 80-gallon kettles of syrup. And he built all this stuff. He was an accomplished, they said, stonemason and blacksmith. And at the top of the hill here, sort of overlooking the rest of the plantation again, was another house. It was one of the sisters lived in, and she took care of a lot of the children after some of the people died of typhoid. I think there was at least 11 kids at one point, plus a bunch of nieces and nephews. It's a little bit difficult to see, but I hope you can, that a lot of this furniture that's still in this house was built by John Gerald in the mid-1800s. This was where the lumber mill was. You could see down at the bottom. There's a saw. And they made a lot of different things here. They did cotton gin, they caned sugar, they grist grain. This was some Georgia working plantation.
This is the heart of the operation right here. This is where he had the steam engines that powered everything that ran this place. It was a sawmill, a grist mill, I don't know, there were a few others, a thrasher,
Cotton gin.
cotton gin, a lot of machinery and equipment. This one over here is the small engine house. They had some smaller steam engines. You can see the pipe running from building to building. And this here says it's the evaporator house. So this one was built by Dick Gerald and his sons for the production of sugarcane syrup. Right, this right here is a 1927 Hupmobile, or what's left of it, and that was used to power the thresher.
Oh, okay. And it says and the cane mill too, I think it says.
Well, I think this one, I don't know for sure. I think belts ran from down below to power some of these other machines. What I do know for sure is it's time to pack up and head to our next destination. Thanks for hanging out with us, and as always, we'll see you down the road.
Stop, stop, stop!